Hey, folks. Uh, one of the downsides of being fortunate enough to have a lot of things, and I've got way too many. I got way too many things, so I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I have a problem. But one of the downsides of having so many vehicles and so many things is that there's always something to fix. Now that's it can be overwhelming. I've got to say that, but in reality, it's just the the trade-off. If you like having a lot of stuff, and I like having a lot of stuff, then you have to also enjoy, to some degree, working on that stuff and getting some things done. I've just finished wrapping up mowing the field, to bush hog the field, rotary cut. Um, what are some other terms I've heard? Shred. Bundy Bear in Australia, I think he calls it shredding. SHRED. I can't speak very clearly with my braces yet. Shredding, I think that's one. Um, at any rate, just finished up the field, and the other day I got in my truck. I have a 2014 Ram. I got in the truck the other day, and I was going to start it, and this is what I found. You will notice I have a flashing steering wheel, and it says power, service power steering. And you can't turn the wheel. That's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because you have to turn the wheel to drive. This truck, I don't know how far back it goes, but almost every new vehicle I think has electronic power assist on the steering. Used to be hydraulic, that would be driven off of a pump on the engine. Obviously, that takes a bit of horsepower and it affects fuel mileage to some degree. So, economy is hampered. Little research tells me that there's a small. Oh, the radio came on. I don't need the radio. Research tells me that an electric pump that is integrated in the rack for the rack and pinion steering, and that pump has a belt, has a cogged drive belt from the electric motor. Now, I need to tear into that and see if the belt is the problem or if the electric motor is the problem or something else is the problem. This truck has just under 70,000 miles. It was in the video. You'll see how much, 69 something. It's not even 69, I don't believe. I believe, well, maybe 68, 69,000. At any rate, I got to tear into that and figure out what is causing this problem. I was fortunate. It ran great, no problems at all. I've had it for 10 years now. I had it parked in my shop. I started to back it out the other day for something. I started it, this popped up. So the first time it popped up, I was at home. I wasn't trying to drive. I've read horror stories where people are trying to drive down the road, and the hydraulic, and I would hate to see it because it's impossible to turn almost. In the old days, if you lost your power steering, you could still turn the wheel, but this one's not, you know, this is not going to work. So I'd hate to be driving down the road and have that belt break because I could easily see how that could wind up in a crash. So um, I suppose if things work too well, you need to change them so that they don't work quite so well. I've got I got vehicles that are 40 years old, and the power steering works fine still. Um, Original, no problems. Uh, Maybe the occasional hydraulic leak. So we live in a world where good enough is not good enough, and it's a better idea to go back to an old Ford slogan. But it isn't better if you can't drive the truck whenever something goes wrong. If you can't safely get it off the road, which it would be a concern for me. I don't see how you could even safely get it off the road like it is. Enough of a rant, I suppose. I will try to take you along, show you how to examine this. We'll see what I find, and we'll see if we can get it repaired. All right, upon further inquiry into this truck, power steering issues, there are a couple fuses on the positive post of the battery, and these electric power steering units have a cable that goes straight down. Now, I don't know which one of these is the one that goes straight down to the unit. I can't say I have total clarity on that. I think it's this one here. Doesn't matter. You can check to see if these have power. Obviously, the fuse connects the positive post to this cable, or to this, I guess you could say, this lug. And if that fuse blows, there would be no power here. So if you've got power here and here, these fuses are good. That's one of the things that could go wrong on these Ram pickup trucks. That would be a problem with your electric power steering. Another, I don't think you can see this, but another is, let me see if I can do something with this maybe. Maybe I can have a new, something with a light. I'll try that. Okay, I think you can see this. That knuckle down there comes from the steering column down and connects to the top of the power steering rack. So there's a universal joint there. Some people have, when they have a sticking problem, it feels like the steering is sticking, they can lubricate that and tell if that's a problem. It doesn't fix the problem, it just helps you troubleshoot if there's a sticking feeling. It gets kind of stiff in the steering as you turn it. So we know that there are several potential problems with the Ram pickup trucks. And I already mentioned earlier that very, very difficult to steer. I was able to, you can steer it, but it's very difficult to steer. It's very tough to do. So it's not really ideal. The fuses on the battery post, one thing. And that's if nothing's working, obviously, if you've got a problem and it just isn't working. If steering is difficult, notchy, difficult to turn, then that steering knuckle or universal joint in the steering could be that problem. Potentially a drive belt on the electric power steering. I'll show you that. I took mine apart. I'll show you that and kind of talk about that a bit. But that's not the problem with mine. So it looks like I'm going to have to buy a remanufactured steering rack. And this must be a huge problem because they're just not in stock. You can't, it's hard to find them. And used ones are selling for, $1,200-1,500 online. So I hate to buy a used one because you never know. I mean, with a new one, you never know, but certainly with a used one, who knows the lifespan of that. I think a new one from Chrysler's $2,500, $2,200 to $2,500, and probably no guarantee that it's going to be any better than this one. 70,000 miles, 10 years, less than 70,000 miles, about a 10-year span. And I'm looking at having to work on it. I'm a bit frustrated with it. I'm not happy. I've been really happy with the truck up until now. Not happy today, not happy now, the last couple weeks. Because I like my truck, I want to use the truck when I need it, and it's been down and out. So I'm going to show you the last thing that, as far as I know, the last thing you can really troubleshoot that would be less expensive and easier to fix. And after that, it's put a new rack in it. So I'll show you. All right, so we're up under the truck now. This is the steering rack, looking at it from the passenger side. So this would be the right side. The right right tie rod is right there. So it screws right in. Those threads right there screw right into the end of this shaft. And I've marked this. Didn't really understand it the way I needed to, and now that I understand it, I know that mark is useless because it'll go in as tight as you can put it when you put it back, if you're able to do that For me, it didn't matter because my belt is still good. Now you've got these, this is the cover that you take off, and it's got what, six bolts that are, they are Allen head screws that go in there, and they're an H5, I guess, H5. So that's what goes back in there. If you're fortunate enough to just need the belt, you could buy the belt. You can actually buy this kit that includes, I think it includes the new seal, the seal that goes in here, the new belt, and the metal rings that you put on there the ring that you put on there to seal this back up to the cap here, the cover. Okay, let's see. We'll take a quick gander in there, but we can see that the belt is there. It's intact, it's not broken. Everything is fine. So, unfortunately, that's not an easy fix at this point. It looks like it's going to have to be the entire removal of the entire rack. So what I'm going to do is put this one back together so I can move the truck and get it on my my lift. And when I get this on my lift, then I'm going to be able to work on it. And as soon as I find a rack, until then I can move it, which is better than it is right now. It's been dead in the water for a few days. So, you know, that's where we are. Not ideal, not what I want, but kind of bringing you along to let you know what to expect. I've read all kinds of things about these racks, but some say they need to be reprogrammed. Got to have one of the diagnostic tools to be able to do that. I don't know. I do know it's $3,000 to $3,500 to take it to a dealership and have them do the work. And replacing the rack isn't that big a job, so I'll show you how that looks, and we'll see what we can do with it. All right, so I told you folks about this with my truck, my Ram pickup truck. Steering went out on it. Have to service the steering. Looked at the drive belt. It's good. Checked the fuses. They're good. Never had any indication of a problem before this. Was looking, called a variety of parts retailers, out of stock, not there, and just happened to, to be looking around. I think the average price on eBay over $2,000. I went to Rock Auto; they were out of stock. And I had left. It's a weird thing. I left the window open on my phone. I was in the browser for Rock Auto. I left the window open a couple days. I mean, I was using the phone, and so that browser was closed. And I happened to open it to look for maybe even a way to get rid of the electric power steering and convert it to a manual. That's where I was getting, because the truck's been down since early September. It is now the 2nd or 3rd, I can't remember, of October. At any rate, started to order it, was looking for alternative solutions where I could just replace the electric power steering. And I happened to open up the browser, and Rock Auto had a Cardone remanufactured unit for $500 roughly. And it supposedly fits the crew cab truck, my truck. For some reason, the configuration of the cab makes a difference. A 4-door is different than a standard cab, and there are probably some other differences. I don't know what they are. Regardless, I ordered it. I mean, I ordered it. There was one in stock. I ordered it right away. And it was supposed to have been here last Thursday. It is now Wednesday, so almost a week ago it was supposed to have been here. It was delayed for some reason. Friday rolls around and we had Hurricane Helene, flooding all around, and so nothing gets delivered that afternoon either. I think I got it Monday. I think it came Monday. So it's now Wednesday. I haven't even looked at it. The box looks like it's been through a war. I'm sitting on it now, so it's not any better. But it doesn't look good even if I'm not sitting on it. I'll show you. Let's see if we can get up. This is the bottom of it. Now this is a 42-pound item, so I don't expect it to be perfect. Let me cut this open. You'll get to look at it as soon as I do. It's not reassuring. Say that. But we will see. Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. So, at least it's got the right connections on it. Those look right. Supposedly rebuilt. I'm not going to set it on the ground or on the concrete yet. I'm going to find a place to put it. We'll check it out. There she is up on the wildfire lift. A couple things to keep in mind is number one, the directions say make sure the steering wheel never turns. Have everything pointed straight forward. If the wheel turns from center at all, you gotta reset the clock spring in there. No interest in that, so I've got it strapped down. And just so you know, there's where the left tire is, and you can see here the right tire, we got about this much hanging off on this side of the truck. So yeah, it's a pretty wide vehicle, and the lift is really good. I love the lift, but it's got all it needs when it comes to this this Ram 1500. It's right there. I could have come a little bit farther left and kind of split that, but it's close enough. Now on to the fun part. I get to get in here and drop this steering rack. All right, so first things first, we gotta disconnect this line, and I've got to get a screwdriver, I think, for that. We'll disconnect these two. Really, we only got about 5 mechanical points here. We got to take to there are 2 bolts go on the other side of the cross member, come into here. They actually, I guess they come to right here. This is the back side, one here, one over there. The 2 tie rod ends on either side, and then the steering knuckle. So let me get this and we'll see what we can get done. We're gonna disconnect the cable right now, the wiring right now. Put some gloves on. I don't like to work without gloves if I can help it. My hands take a beating. Now the downside of this is I can't put this truck all the way up in the air because I don't have a tall enough shop. My roof, even at 12 feet, my roof is not high enough for me to get way up under it here. So I'm not way up under it. Oh, there we go. It's awfully close there, huh? Leave some light over here so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Well, what makes sense here? It's one of those circumstances when you ask it. Oh, there it goes, right there. What makes the most sense? And it's perfect. I got it out. So that was not what I wanted, but it worked. Whoa. Hold your fire. I'm gonna have to move something here. Can't see what's going on. Hold your fire out there. It's not normal to hear gunfire like that in the middle of the day. I don't know what that was really. Well, I'm gonna have to leave you for a minute here and I'll be right back. Just a Little bit of advice. When you pop the red security lock in place, all you have to do is push down on this black tab here and pull out. The same is true on this one. Pull the security lock out, push down on the black tab here behind it. You can see it right there. You can see it right there. Push down and pull the connector out. So that's the way that those connectors come apart. Go back together, push them into place, push the red lock in place. So we're going to take these, this is a drag link, so we're not going to take that. We're going to take the tie rod, not drag link, a sway wire. We're going to take the tie rod ends loose on both sides, tie rod links, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we're going to take loose the tie rod end here, just on the inside there of the steering knuckle. And that requires 21 millimeter. These are not very tight. In fact, these are not very tight at all. So you put this up here, don't be surprised when it comes right off. And we'll do the same on the other side here. I'll bring you along. I'll pray along. Let's see what we got here. You can see a little bit. You can see the holes in my gloves. Look at that. Melted them somehow. I don't know how. Touched something hot, I suppose. I mean, that seems to make sense to me. That's how things melt, I suppose. This one I haven't had off yet, but you can see it was not super tight. In fact, not very tight at all. It's just, that's probably 25 or 30 foot-pounds, I guess. At most. Not much. Not much at all. I like to use hand tools, so that's why I'm here half a day. Oh, I forgot about something. Yeah, got to hold the end here. See how you have a nut, and then you have the end of the ball joint there, which has a hex shape. So you have to use a wrench on that. I've forgotten all about it. I don't know if that's a 10 millimeter or not. Looks like it might be bigger. But no, it's not. It's 10 millimeter. Okay. So a 21 and a 10. I don't think I have a 21 millimeter wrench. All right, good news, good news. You don't need a 21 millimeter if you have a 13/16. You have the same size. And I just happen to have a 13/16 box end. So here we go. Gotta go the other way. Feel that tighten up. Now this is not going to be very much fun, but really I could just hold this bottom part. Like I said, it's not going to be much fun. It will take a bit of work. Let's just put the open end on here maybe. I hate using the open end of a wrench like this, so. You can hear the helicopter still going. Wow, I don't know how I did this last time on the other wheel, but the other side, but I did it. And I was checking everything. It seems like it wasn't so hard. I'm sure it was hard. Maybe I used a 10 millimeter ratchet or socket. I'm thinking that's what I did. Thinking I found a way to be a little smarter than the truck, maybe just a little bit. This is I believe this is what I did. So, I think I'm going the wrong way. Why didn't you guys tell me? Seems like with all I do for you, maybe you tell me that. I thought I was doing something wrong here. Oh, come on now. So, yeah. Contrary to what you would think, feels like you're tightening it, but you're really loosening it, so you just got to keep after it here. I think I might be close enough to just take this off and take that off. Alright, I'm going to do the same to the other side, and then we'll come back and work on something else. Now there's no way you could see up in here, even if I tried to move the camera. But if you'll come back just in front of the transfer case, put a 13mm socket on a swivel, long extension, reach up in front of your cross member, you can actually reach the bolt that holds your steering knuckle together. Attaches the steering knuckle to the rack and pinion. Now I'm trying to tighten it so that's not going to loosen it at all, probably. Oh, that seems pretty tight right there. And probably for good reason. Golly. Is there something I'm missing? I don't think so. Probably got some blue Loctite or something. Oh, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Oh, goodness gracious. That's rough. I need about another foot of clearance in my shop. Build a 13-foot ceiling or something. Cathedral. Not liking that. The swivel seems like the only way to really get on the bolt, but maybe I did myself a disservice there. I don't think so. No, you can't get square on it without that. It's already slipping off, even when the socket's square on it. I wouldn't want to do this with a... Like I say, when I'm working on something like this, I try to take my time. I'd like to get it done in 5 minutes, but it's not going to happen. And I try to take my time and not break more than I repair, and I try to do it right. So I'm just going to take my time with it here. Oh, I got to get it in there. Right. I may have to come a little farther out. That thing's not working the way I need it to. I do not expect this to work either, but I'm going to go back to what was working, although not great. Wasn't working. Wasn't a stellar option. We're going to go back to it, I think. And we're just going to take small victories here. Small turns. Oh boy. See, that's not good at all. I don't know What do I need to do different on that? I just don't see another way. Might be able to get up there with a shorter extension. Let's see. I don't believe this is going to be effective, but hey, you never know. I can't reach it. That's probably why it won't be as effective. It is working, but it isn't working well. Oh, maybe I can go straight at it here. Try this. Felt like something might be working better for me this way. Yeah, I think it might be better off just to put a shorter extension onto a long socket and just fight it. Some things are just rough. This is one of those. Reaching up over your head like this is never any fun. So far, this is the biggest pain. I can see it being a bigger pain going back. Most likely. I could see that happen for sure. Actually, I can see it better from here, I believe. Okay. So that's got it right there. Okay. Red Loctite. I'll take that back. Bigger than a 21. I think we got everything else loose. Let me see what else there is here. Not a 22. Well, by default. It appears to be a 23. I'll bet you this puppy's in there to stay. I need to get a breaker bar. I know, I could get an impact gun. As I've expressed, I'd rather not do that, probably, at least not right now. Let me check this out. Ooh, baby. Ah, there we go. Okay, that's got it. Try this one. Go. It's nothing quite what I need. Ouch. That's my head. Nope, nope. Okay. I think that's got it. Loose enough so that I might be able to get this way. entirely possible that I might, I don't know, let's try this. This is fraught with difficulty and peril, it looks like. I think I'm gonna. It's gonna be interesting, I'd say. Well, if I took the inner tie rod ends off, that would come right out if I unscrewed that. Which I guess I could do because it should screw right out of there. Let me check it. Aim this toward this hole in my... Get one out of there, buddy. I can unscrew this, so let me try that. So what I'm going to do, maybe you can see it, I don't know. I'm going to pull this boot off. I had it off already. And I am going to try to unscrew this. If I get this side unscrewed, then it's probably going to drop on my toe. And off we'll go, right? More fun than the barrel of monkeys. There we go. I was just turning the ball joint before, I think, so I wasn't going to get that loose. Alright. Now, all goes as I hope it will. I can drop this straight down. Maybe. Okay, let him up against there. Right there. Whew, victory. It's out. Okay. Got it out. And I'm going to take a break because that was tough. Okay, so I've had a break, and that break fortunately has been long enough that it doesn't seem like it was that bad to pull everything apart. And truthfully, it wasn't that bad. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be that bad to put it back together. And truthfully, I don't know. Everything looks on the new steering rack. Everything looks to be in the same position as it was on the old rack. So in other words, the shaft for the steering knuckle, the dimple for the bolt, everything's pointed in the same direction. Measurements look like they all line up. It's going to be the same, I hope. Now all I have to do is be able to get this thing in here. I may want to move this though. I'm going to look at this because it seems to me that I probably ought to move this out of here. I may go ahead and get a pair of pliers and pull this wiring out because that just has the earmarks of dissatisfaction. I think it could lead to some serious, I might have to make the channel at least PG rated if I'm not careful with that. So I don't know. Oh, I think that worked close enough. Move that up on top of there. Yeah, man, I think that's not bad. Okay. So that'll work. I think this thing's supposed to weigh something like 42 pounds. And that's not too bad. go. Somehow it seems like more. All right. This is going to be a real pain, I'm afraid. You go here first. I don't know. That's harder than you would think. 42 pounds, that's not a problem. Until you start doing it, then you're like, holy cow, 42 pounds. Hey, not bad. Hey, not bad. I'll take that right there. That's kind of a win. Now, oh boy, this is going to be ugly, I'm afraid. Can one man alone replace his rack and pinion? One man. What's going on, Ben? You doing what? Who, what, who? What, who? Oh boy. Does it go? That's where it goes, has to. There it goes. Oh, my head. There we go. Closer. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's mine. Oh boy, that's mine. Let's see here. What have I got? How is it looking up there? It looks not good. Okay. I don't think I'm going to get that to fit where I need it to. Quite as easily as I might like. Let's see, maybe that's got it. Did that get it? I don't know. This is a placeholder. You know what? I think it did get it. I think we're good. Whew. Too much going on, folks. Too much going on. Too much going on. There we go. All right. That was work. That was work, but I think we got it. Whoop. So, gotta leave the tie rod ends off the outer joint. You would never get it on. Pick the old one out. You'd never get this one on that way. I'll measure and try to get them lined up as best I can where the old ones were. There we go, baby. There we go. there, I think. Okay, I'll torque all that down to factory specs in a minute, but for right now, that's pretty good, I think. Almost reached that. What's going on, young man?
Need some help?
You're going to try to help? Just watch your head.
So why do
Of course, you could walk under here without bumping your head, except for here, right? You know, here, let's go out here. I'll show you what I'm working on. Want to see?
Sure.
Up down here. We turn off the camera. Last night, got the new power steering rack in, but I've got to put the tie rod ends on, so I'm going to take care of that. And the only way I can see to really do that effectively is to take the wheels off and then just screw them on and make sure the measurements are correct. Not that hard, really, to do the steering rack change. It connected right to the knuckle on the steering column. No problem there, and bolted right in, so everything. The only thing I did have was the electrical plug was, the clip was broken, so I've zip tied the whole plug so it can't come out. But it's a fail-safe that will work just fine, I think. So we're going to go ahead and get our things together and see what we can do. I'll try to record this. We'll see if we can make it work. All right, we're going to have to yank these wheels, so let's go ahead and grab the jack and slide it up here. And it's in park, the parking brake set and all the other good stuff, but I don't trust anything. So put the plates in the back there. Oh, why do I have an air leak here? What is going on? There we go. Here we go. Then I have to pull them off. Looks like I won't have to. Let's try this anyway. What do you think? Let's see if we got what we need here. Oh yeah, we may have enough. Oh no, maybe. Ollie. There we go. That should be as hard as it gets right there. All right, that's good. You got to get her in the ballpark here, I'd say. So, see if we can do that. Sorry about that. Had bad lighting. So, if I go from here, actually, it's got to be right there. Got a ways to go yet. Couple of turns yet. Right there is probably going to be about somewhere in that ballpark. That should be it right there. I measured it, the distance from this reference, which is the very point on this machined area, so you can put a wrench on it. The very point of that to the nut, back side of the nut. So we're within probably 1/8 of a turn or something. Right there's perfect, I think. I'll need to work with that, tighten it, and see what works. That's where it's going to go. It's going to live right there. I'll show you on the next one. All right, no, that's too far back. I know that automatically. Probably right there, maybe. That seems to be too far out. No, that's going to be right. Right there is perfect, actually. So let me see. Grab my wrenches and we'll tighten that up. This is obviously not perfect here. Not a perfect situation, but it's going to have to be pretty close. What we got here on our measurement now. Oh yeah, that looks really good actually. Oh yeah, looks really nice. Really nice. I don't have a problem with that. Tighten that up here in a minute. Remind me that that's still loose. All right, let's go over here and take the other one apart. It's going to be interesting. That's really tough to break loose the first time. Or the break loose period, I guess. There's no first time. It's either broken loose or it's not. The whole thing will turn, so you have to have, and I don't have the appropriate size wrench, so this is what I got. There it went. Once it's broken loose, Bob's your uncle, as they say. Oh, I'm about to lose something here. Oh, you know what I did? I gotta do this differently. Right there's where we go. I'm gonna come from back here. That's back where it needs to be. So that's my measurement right there, to the back side of this machined area where the wrench can fit. That's it right there. Now obviously this is not going to be aligned perfectly. It's going to be pretty close. So that's all I ask for. Pretty close is good enough for now. This may work. I don't know. Probably wouldn't hurt to put new tie rod ends on here, but I'm not going to do that for now. I'm just going to run what we brung, as they say. I was a little bit loose, but I think that'll be fine for now. There's no slop in there. 70,000. It's probably got another 20 or 30 in it. No slop. It's just a little bit loose. And you can also tell on the threads where this one was. So if we had to come back, we could come back here. We could say we started right there and that there's the end. So we could do it that way if we had to. We don't need to. We got it. That was smart. There we go. Ready to rock now. And let's see, what else did I need? I need to put this and this. And I'm also going to pull off this clamp, because you never know when you're going to need a clamp like this. So that's coming off and going with me. All right. What did I do with the other end. Just going to screw this in here so I got it. Try to put this together so I don't have to wonder where it is. I know. Oh, come on. Okay, what we'll do then. It just screws in the end of the gear housing or the gear assembly. Here we go. So that's the old one. Let's try to put this on. We'll get things wrapped up here. So let's get this one together now. Drop this down because it's hard to work past that. It's like a lot of room right there, doesn't it? Now you could do this lying on your back in a driveway. It wouldn't be a lot of fun, but it could be done. I've done similar things, so I know it's possible. This lift makes life a lot more convenient sometimes, and it's probably from start to finish, if you're really concentrated, probably a 2 or 3 hour job. 2 or 3 hours. If you're like me, the ability to concentrate is minimized because you have a lot of other things going on in life, but that's okay. The price you pay for having a lot of great things in life is that it doesn't always go the way you'd like. There we go, right there. Should be in this ballpark, right? I'd say. I'm gonna have to either loosen it or tighten it just a bit. Well, maybe not. Yeah, the whole thing's gonna turn that way. So let's see what we got here. Oh, that looks really good, actually. So let's just leave it like that. I don't think I gotta worry about that too much. Pretty good. Right on. Where'd I go? Here it is. I can't believe I've lost it there for a moment, but I sure did. I sure did. I lost it for a moment. I can tell you these don't have to be tiger tight, as the saying goes. That's too big. All right, let me get the right size. I know they're right. I'm going to double check the main ones. I'm going to double check the steering linkage, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. You guys are right. I was being an idiot again, and I've got to do this differently. it can't work that way. See, I remember now. I might be slow, but I can remember. And you're 100% right. I got to do it a different way. Now that you mention it, I remember that we got to have a 13/16 wrench, which is equivalent to whatever it is in metric world. My camera shut off, and I don't know why, but I'm hoping we got things resolved here. This is really hard to reach, but I'm going to get an extension. Pull this out here where I can really work it. With the universal, this may... Oh, yeah. I'm going to say that's good. All right, let's do the same on the other side here. See how this works. 13/16 against the world. Here we go. If I get that up on there, it should be all right. All right, so we know that that's accurate. That's right on. I'm going to check everything else, and then I'll bring you guys back for the... I'm going to double check the torque on everything, and then I'll bring you guys back for the start. All right, you can see that I tied my steering wheel down to keep it straight. It worked pretty well. I'm going to take that loose, and then we'll have the moment of truth here in just a second. Do you guys get a little nervous at the moment of truth? And I've done this work, I've spent the money. I think it's going to fix it, but it might not. Might have to have the computer flashed or whatever. I don't know. Here it goes though. I'm nervous. Here it is, the moment of truth. Oh baby, yeah! It's giving me a little bit of an error message here when I turn the wheels. Maybe not. I thought it was. Flipped up there for a second, but I think I'm all right. I'm going to take it for a little bit of a spin. We'll see. Okay, this is the first drive out of my driveway here. There's a little something. Gave a little bit of a weird something right there. That may or may not be a serious issue. I don't know. Something felt just a little shaky right there, but let's go up here. There's the creek that flooded all the way back up into this area right here, right in here somewhere. TVA has been using this driveway to rework some things. They're up here. Had helicopter flying around doing its deal. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a U-turn. We'll go back. There's the helicopter there. Been doing some things. Well, near as I can tell, it's about as well as I would expect it to be. Ugh, look out there, buddy. I'm coming out. Now I'm gonna turn it hard here. We're gonna see what we got. Oh, it just threw an error right there. Service power steering. But it backed right back off of that. So I'm gonna hope it's just kind of learning. Steering wheel's straight when I'm driving straight, so that's a good sign. Guess we'll find out, won't we? Dusty, dusty, dusty. Now I'm gonna be a little bit scared of it for a while at least. It's not that big a deal, but replacing it's not that hard. The electronic, the computer and electronic part is kind of a little bit of a mystery, I think. So I don't know. I'll have to let you know how it goes here once we've had a little time to work with it. Kind of wraps it up, I think. Well, it's time for an update on the truck. And when I left you, I had just taken it for the test drive and realized that there was a little bit of a glitch of some sort with the steering yet. Remember, it didn't work at all. I replaced it with the rebuilt Cardone unit from Rock Auto, and it at least steered. Took it up the road, had a little error code that kicked off. I took it to the local Ram dealer to have the repairs done in the hopes that maybe, not repairs, but have a flashing done to flash that module to the computer for the truck, hoping that that would make a difference. And it didn't. Didn't really make a difference. It's you start the truck, and for about the first 5 minutes or so, maybe 10, but not very long, it doesn't really act up. But once there's some heat in the unit, seems like it every time you have a very sharp turn one direction or the other, there's a little bit of a binding, and it's electronic. It isn't the universal joint. It's something in the return is triggering an error. So the steering tracks the angle of the turn and sharpness and speed, and I guess it also senses a lot of different parameters. That's why you have this electronic feedback. At any rate, it's not what it needs to be. It's not working correctly. I've already sent my old one to Rock Auto, got my refund on the core charge. To send this one back would leave me with no steering. I don't have another steering rack to put in it. I haven't found another one on the market anywhere to buy to put in it right now, especially given the prices of some of them. I mean, if you want to pay $2,500, maybe, but even then, I'm kind of dubious. So I'm kind of stuck right now, and I don't know what to do. The truck's been down since early September. It's the 1st of November right now, so we're 2 months in. And probably going to be 3 or 4 months in before I can find something that will solve the problem. But I wanted to give you a little bit of feedback, or let you know kind of what happened. I took it down. The dealer took 10 minutes, 15 minutes, cost me $160 to flash the computer. And they also told me that there was something still wrong with the unit. It wasn't performing appropriately, and I knew that already. So that wasn't anything that made me terribly upset, other than I'd hope that would resolve the issue. So there are a lot of things that you have to take a look at. It's a horrible design. For whatever reason, it shouldn't fail like that, and I've seen examples where that unit failed at 30,000 miles. So Ram has a lot of work to do to get that part worked out. As I said, I've loved the truck. I've loved it for a long time, but as soon as I get it repaired, I'm going to sell it. I just don't want to have to deal with this. And I will always worry about it if I have this going on. So as soon as I can figure out how to get it repaired so it's right, it's not throwing codes, it drives well, it's a great truck, I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I've got older trucks that I'm gonna put some money and time into, and they are things I don't have to take to a dealer, and I can buy those parts readily. So I'll use them, I'll fix them up and keep them, which I planned on doing anyway. So that's an update on the Ram pickup truck. Not fixed yet. I felt great and I do feel great now that it at least steers and drives. I can use it. I'm kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop whenever maybe it decides it's not going to work at all. I'm going to try to take a look at that module on this rack and pinion. I'm going to pull some things apart that I didn't on the original, and maybe check my connections. You know, I had a problem with the electrical connection on the module, from the truck to the module. So I'm going to probably double check that, be sure everything's working right. We'll see what's going to happen. If I find out what's going on, I'll let you know. And if I don't, I guess we'll just be here. And at some point, that truck will be on the market for sale for sure. It's a really nice truck. I hate to see it go, but I do not like something that has this type of problem that you can't really buy parts for. I just don't want to deal with that. So I've got it. Still has a little bit of a glitch. Who knows how long it's going to be before I can find another rack, or maybe diagnose this one and figure out what's going on. I'm going to keep working on it, and I'm going to try to get it right, and I hope you'll wish me all the best. I hope you'll also like and subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of other videos coming up, probably a lot of videos rebuilding a couple of older trucks now, the way it looks. And I got a lot of different types of content, so I'm going to have that coming up here pretty soon. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you stick around and come back for more on It's a Doc's Life. Endeavor to persevere.